Hey guys, I'm George, the nice merry gentleman, and it's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And today I'll be talking about some new releases from the brand of Fragrance World and French Avenue. The three scents that I'm going to talk about in today's video are called Bubbly, which is sold under Fragrance World, and Moonstone Blue and Moonstone Noir, which are sold under the brand of French Avenue. Okay, the first one that I'm going to talk about in today's video will be called Bubbly, the one called Bubbly, which is sold under the brand of Fragrance World. A very quick look at the packaging. This is the way that the box looks. It's white and black with some silver accents. The concentration here is EDP, the bottle size is 100 milliliters, and this is enough for the packaging. This is the bottle design. This looks very similar to the original fragrance that it has been inspired by. Also looks very similar to another fragrance that's sold by Fragrance World, which is called Suits. The bottle has nice heft, the cap is plastic, but it's a snug fit, and it's a very decent packaging. Now, if you cannot already guess what this has been cloning, well, it's an YSL original fragrance, and the original fragrance is called Baby Cat. Let me show you the sprayer of Bubbly in action. It's a good sprayer, has nice distribution. And the scent itself, well, if you have been living under a rock and if you have never tried Baby Cat or any of the famous and hyped up clones of Baby Cat, the scent profile of the original fragrance and Bubbly for that matter is centered around three main notes. And those notes are the very sweet, slightly dark vanilla note, incense and suede leather. Basically those are the three main notes in this fragrance, in the original one and all the good clones. There's a hint of tobacco in here, there's some spiciness, some woods, maybe some benzoin and whatnot, but it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about those three main notes: the dark sweet vanilla, the suede leather and the incense. And this smells very similar to Baby Cat, so basically this is a very good take. Now, Fragrance World already have another clone of Baby Cat which is sold under French Avenue and has higher quality, it has better performance, but it's also a lot more expensive. And to me, Bubbly just smells like a slightly watered down version of Fierte. That other clone from French Avenue is called Fierte. This smells like a slightly watered down, slightly lower quality, fragrance than Fierte itself, but it's a good clone of Baby Cat, will get you smelling very similar to the original fragrance. Performance wise, it's a good performer, nothing spectacular, but I've been easily getting at least 7 hours of performance out of it with pretty decent projection in the first about hour and a half. If you overspray this one a little bit, or if you spray on clothes, you'll extend that projection for probably around about the 2 hour mark. So performance wise, this is pretty good. Price wise, it's quite inexpensive. I personally picked this bottle for less than 25 euros. I think it was something like 22-23 euros, which makes it probably the most inexpensive clone of a Baby Cat that I have in my collection. So price wise it's very competitively priced, and versatility wise very similar to the original fragrance. It's a unisex scent that I know for a lot of people may lean a little bit to the feminine side because of the strong vanilla and lots of the sweetness that it has. And it's definitely for cold weather, and I personally prefer to wear such scents in the nighttime. And now let's move on to the two offerings from French Avenue that are called Moonstone Blue and Moonstone Noir. I'm going to start with the blue one. Another very quick look at the packaging and the presentation. This looks a lot better than Bubbly, for an example. You have this cutout in here which you can see through and inside the box, and you can see the actual bottle sitting inside. It also has this decoration on the side which probably supposed to resemble the shape of the moon. It's a thick cardboard box. The concentration here is EDP and the bottle size is 100 milliliters. This is how you open up the bottle, and once you do, and then this is how the bottle of Moonstone Blue looks. It has this bluish color, as the name would suggest. On each side you get these paintings, decorations that at least to me they look like lightnings or something like that. You get the name of the fragrance on the front. The whole bottle is quite heavy in hand, and the cap is also quite heavy and has this interesting design that's probably supposed to resemble the landscape of the moon. So yeah, they've done an interesting job with the actual bottle design. Let me show you the sprayer of this one in action. Again, it's a very good sprayer, has really nice distribution, and the scent itself is interesting, not like super unique, but definitely interesting. Now this is supposedly a clone of a Pentelegons fragrance, which is called Sartorial, if I'm not mistaken. I've never tried the original one, so I cannot compare it to the original. But this smells very fresh in the opening. There's quite a bit of sweetness, especially in the first few minutes, that in a way they smell, to my nose, almost bubblegum, you know, that those sweet notes almost smell like the opening of a bubblegum. It feels kind of aquatic. There's some aldehydes in the opening of this one. There's a lot of lavender as well, which gives it a very sort of a fresh, very aromatic opening. It feels kind of barbershopy as well. There's a bit of a green touch. I think there's a violet leaf note in here as well used, which also adds a bit of a floral touch, but also adds a bit of freshness. And there's also quite a bit of sweetness. There's maybe some fruity sweetness, some amber sweetness. I think it has a honey note as well. It's a very interesting opening that feels barbershopy, feels aromatic, feels fresh, kind of sweet, and it has a bit of a metallic edge. Now, if you've seen some reviews of this one already, you'll see a lot of people reporting that this has a metallic vibe, and it definitely has. In a way, this resembles also, at least to my nose, gives me sort of an Chanel Platinum Egoist vibes. It's not that the fragrance itself smells a lot like the one from Chanel, but definitely that metallic vibe that I get out of Platinum Egoist, I get similar vibes from Moonstone Blue as well. On the dry down, it starts to settle a little bit. Maybe there's a hint of leather on its dry down. It remains quite fresh, it remains sweet. There's quite a bit of musk as well on its dry down, and maybe some ouds as well. It's a very interesting barbershoppy type of scent, maybe not full-on barbershoppy, but definitely will give you some barbershoppy vibes. It smells fresh, it smells aromatic, and it's I would say you know, a pretty easy to wear fragrance. Maybe some people may find it challenging, but for me personally this doesn't smell challenging at all. Performance-wise, it's a good performer. Initially it has quite good projection because I think of the combination of the strong lavender with the musks, the sweetness. It actually, in the first about 1 hour, has quite strong projection. It's not a beast when it comes to projection, but definitely has nice projection. And then after that, after the 1 hour mark, it will start to settle a little bit, but still will give you about an hour and a half, maybe even up to 2 hours of very decent projection. Price-wise, both fragrances are a little bit more expensive. I think currently in Europe they go for around about the 50 euro mark, but they come from French Avenue, so you should expect them to be a little bit more pricey. And versatility-wise, I could definitely say that this is a masculine fragrance that's pretty much an all year round one. And now let's talk about the other Moonstone fragrance, which I personally find to be you know, a little bit more interesting. Package-wise, I'm not going to go over the whole package again. It's exactly the same, but the coloring combination here is golden and black, as opposed to being blue and silver. Again, 100 milliliter bottle size, EDP concentration. Again, exactly the same bottle design with different colors, exactly the same looking and feeling cap. So again, a pretty nice and interesting presentation. I'm going to show you the sprayer of this one in action. Again, a good sprayer, although I kind of feel that the blue one has slightly better sprayer. And the scent of this particular one is very, very interesting. Now, in the opening, especially in the first minute or two, to my nose, the opening is dominated by a very ashy incense note that feels almost like you've smelled the ash of a freshly burnt fireplace or something like that, freshly burnt wood. It's quite strong, it's sharp, it's smoky and ashy at the same time. It's also very woody, it has some spices in the opening, and also there's a sweetness which lies beneath everything else from the opening to the late dry down of this particular one. Lots of vanilla sweetness. There's also a leather note that's quite strong with this fragrance, but it comes up a few minutes after you spray it. Initially you won't pick up a strong leather note, but after a few minutes the leather starts to become stronger and stronger. It's a very, very interesting and unique combination. On the dry down you'll get introduced to some musks as well. The woodsy notes are still here. I think there's supposedly a white oud note used. I'm not too sure exactly how white oud smells, but this definitely smells woody and oudy as well. and the vanillic sweetness is here from the opening to the dry down, and on the dry down the vanillic sweetness will be a little bit stronger compared to the opening. It will remain a little bit smoky as well and very leathery. And it's a very interesting, very unique scent that I actually kind of like a lot. I'm not too sure if this is cloning anything. To be honest, I can't remember smelling something that smells similar to, to Moonstone Noir, to be honest. Performance-wise, a strong performer. Total longevity is good. In fact, it's quite good, over 8, maybe even over 9 hours. Where this lacks a little bit is the projection. It's not the hardest projecting fragrance in the world. It's a little bit more intimate, but it will sustain a sort of a moderate projection for about 2 hours, but the total longevity is quite nice with this fragrance. Price-wise, pretty much the same as the other Moonstone, around about the €50 mark, which is a bit more pricey, but you get good quality and very good performance in return. And versatility-wise, this is definitely a masculine fragrance that's definitely orientated toward the colder months of the year. You can get away with this in warm weather as well, as long as you don't overspray it. So guys, in today's video I talked about 3 new releases from Fragrance World and French Avenue: Bubbly, Moonstone Blue and Moonstone Noir. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.